Guys, welcome back to another one. As requested from a couple of the comments, how I keep this thing clean, what I use. I actually use some really simple products. I don't do anything crazy. Most of the stuff I just get from Super Cheap Auto. So yeah, stick around and I'll show you how I keep this thing looking the way it does. All right, so starting on this end, this is basically everything that I use. I have a dirty bucket, has a little spot to get into things. This is actually one I bought for the car splash liners, but we'll see. I haven't used that on my bike yet, but to get into little spots. And then just this one here. So this is basically for the wheels and the motor, dirty things underneath the bike. Then we have like our paint bucket. So I bought like a pretty soft Meguiar's little woolen mitt here for the paint stuff. And that's the one that I use for car. That's actually a Bowden's mitt. So they're basically just paint sort of mitts. This one, if you need to get to some hard little spots, it's better. I don't like using that little, they call the bug remover thing, a bit rough. So I just use that, and if I need to get something off, it's a bit hard to use this one here. And also use a Makita air blower as well, which I'll get out in a sec. This is I use a Meguiar's wash and wax. I've used a couple. I know you just buy a good one. I don't think that's that crucial. And then like a nice soft, like microfiber, like a big towel. And then at the end I use a quick detail with that rag. And then on the motor stuff, if I want to clean things up, I actually use Mr. Sheen. Basically on anything but the paint. You can use it on the paint, and then just a rag to wipe it off on the motor or on the exhaust and stuff like that. Yeah, just anything, the mirrors, anything like that. It's a good one. So most of the bike shops use stuff like that just for little bits and pieces, and that's basically all you really need. And I'll go into depth over the video and some as I do it, and also how I clean up my exhaust as well, which I'll do a little spot that needs some touching up. So I'll show you what we do there to keep that looking pretty mint, because people think I polish it all the time, but I don't. One thing I always use, a little bag just over the air cleaner. Obviously, depending on your air cleaner, how you're going to do that. That's what I do with mine. Obviously, don't put that on there when it's hot. I don't wash my bike when it's hot because it just pits the exhaust. But yeah, I just throw that over there to keep that clean. I'll leave the seat on. You can take the seat off and just mask the other stuff, but I just leave it on as it is and just send it. Always use accurate measurements. That much. Probably too much. Who cares? All right, we'll give her a little rinse off. Just wet her up. I'll get stuck into this now. I do all the paint first and then get stuck into everything else. Like I said, again, don't do it when it's hot. Just seems to hate it a bit and it's not very good for it. And yeah, I just don't do it. Like it just hisses and makes a bunch of noise, and the exhaust sometimes goes a bit shit color and goes pitted depending on the exhaust you got. So always wash it when it's cold. Look, I am no expert. I'm just showing you how I clean my bike. I don't need to hear how I've done it wrong or how your uncle's the detailer and this and that. This isn't a professional job. This is how I clean my bike. All right, that's pretty much it. Just throw the waste over it. Boom. Now I've got this new little tool. I actually had it for like in the splash line as the cars. Like I said, I haven't used it on my bike yet. I don't know. I'm sure it's got its place somewhere. I mean, that was nice and easy. I haven't got my hand in there, but just be careful with your wiring and stuff as well. All in there. Oh, that's nice. What about the front here? Oh, yeah. Oh, arigato. Yeah, that's actually killer for in there. But yeah, usually for the wheels and stuff, all the motor, all the dirty stuff now, and sand it and go from there. So this is my little favorite one here. You're gonna want to get one with like a bunch of little microfibers off it. It's just easy if it's a bit more fluffed up. Start inside out. These wheels are very hard to clean. Go in all those spots. Yeah, boy. My engine, mitt, all my dirty stuff. Get on the front of the motor down there and just, it's hard to see what you're getting, but you try and get as much as you can with this now so you don't have to be rough later and get the Mr. Sheen on it. But again, get what you can with the mitt, and then we'll use the other one for the rest. The rear wheel, super tricky to clean. Just with the sprocket and everything around it, the pulley. It's a pretty shit little spot. Let's see if this helps. I don't think it will. Nah, sort of, but not really. I usually jack it up after on a H stand and get in there. Clean that new bit of merchandise. Oh yeah, boy. All right, we'll give her a little rinse down and get the Makita out and blow her off. Again, I never use high pressure water. Just out the tap with a little nozzle on, it's fine. You're only gonna cause yourself issues later. Boom. Controls first, work your way down to the bottom. Simple as that. All right, so like a wax quick detailer, there's, you know, streaks and stuff everywhere, but that's fine. At least the actual water's mainly off it. And just nothing crazy. I just spray sections. Boom. And just rub it all in. Sometimes if you want, you can check it outside. Sometimes you ride it out into the sun, you're like, holy shit. Like, what have I done here? But the lighting's not too bad in here. Definitely needs a little polish. Like I said, Mr. Sheen, old microfiber that's a bit bedded in. Any little spots that you want to touch up, or that you can see once it gets a bit dry, like. Even all your tubes, everything's probably a little bit too wet to make this work, but that is what I use. And then basically what I do is sometimes even throw a head torch on, and if you really want to go for it, put it on the H stand and get Mr. Sheen and just go around all the spots, all the wheels, and just spray where you need to. Even like all around the head stem here. Everyone loves a clean head stem. You know what I mean? You clean the spots that you think people aren't gonna look and they stop looking, you know? Little trick. Someone once taught me, clean the head stem and the wheels and people just assume the rest is mint. And guys, that is pretty much it. She's looking not too bad. Not too bad. But she's in a bit of a need of a cut and polish, which I'll be able to do. In saying that, actually, I usually just swirl remove it with juice swirl remover. I don't actually cut it unless it really needs it. So I just go hard on that with a black pad on an orbital buff. Sorry, a rotary, little small rotary buff, little 3-inch buff, and just go from there. That's all it really needs, and usually brings up where I'm happy with it. Now with the exhaust, I'm not going to do it, but as an added little bonus at the end, if you've got a little spot where there's something on it, that spot somehow disappeared, but I'll rub it with the green scotch. If you want to be real fussy, you can go in the direction that everything else is, which is up and down. And then what I do from there is, depending on the finish you want, I go straight to a purple polish, which is a very thin polish. It's like a finisher, so that way you still keep that like rough sort of look, but you get the shine. If you want like a very shiny finish, you can go like a metal polish. It's a bit more coarse and it will eat into it a bit quicker, which is fine. It's just, yeah, depends what you want. But yeah, metal polish will get the job done a little bit faster. But yeah, that's really about it. Let us know if it's constructive, if you've got anything that you want to add. I'm sure there's plenty of people who are going to tell me I shouldn't have wet the bike, shouldn't have this. Well, do what you want with your own bike. This is what I do with mine. And for a final little bonus tip, yeah, I use WD-40 on the motor. Now, if you've got, reason for that, it glosses it up real nice and you can kind of rub it in. Secondly, you can also do it as a cleaner. If the motor's cold, you can spray it on, or even a little bit warm, you can spray it on when it's not too hot. And if it's got like stuff all between the fins and dirt that's stuck to it, I've tried to use so many things, but WD-40, you spray it on there, roll it out into the street, start it up, and it all just starts falling off. And then once it cools down, get a little brush and some water and you can get it all out. I'm sure there's probably a better way, but that's how I do it. So if you guys know a better way of cleaning all in there, but the WD-40 works miracles, even for getting like oil off and stuff, which I did last night here. After I did the service, it worked really well. So guys, thank you for watching. Hopefully the guy that commented, or the two people that commented, watch a video. It was always a bit of an idea and a pretty easy video to do. I know it's not exciting, but there you guys go. Thanks guys.